This is Group 1's business model presentation.
We began building our business model by leveraging the Canvas framework. We determined our customer segments would be police officers, victims of crime, local officials like city council members, and alleged perpetrators of crime. Our product is valuable to police officers as it allows them to more easily update victims on case progression. We will provide this value through computer software that officers can use to update cases. We'll also provide training and technical support to help officers use the software. Our product is valuable to victims as it gives them an increased access to their case's progression and the ability to hold unresponsive officers accountable. We will provide this value through an app and website that victims can use to view case progress. We will also provide technical support to help victims using the service. Our product is valuable to local officials as it allows them to increase the transparency and accountability of their police department by improving their oversight. We will provide this value through a website that officials can use to view officer case progression. We will also provide training and technical support to help officials using the service. Our product is valuable to alleged perpetrators as it gives them increased access to their case's progress. We will provide this value through a website that the accused can use to view their case. We will also provide technical support to help the accused use the service. Our relationship with the police and local officials will be acquired and maintained with the support of victim advocate and police reform groups. We will utilize the police to create service logins for victims and alleged perpetrators. Revenue will come from the service subscription fee and advertising revenue promoting local services to victims and alleged perpetrators. Victims would see ads for victim advocates, while perpetrators would see ads for defense services.
The next step in building our business model canvas was discussing some of the key resources that we would need in order to support our prototype wireframe. For our app and wireframe development to be successful, we decided that we would need the support of societal interest groups that are looking for police reform, computer scientists and software engineers to help build and develop the platform, and lastly, some form of technical support that would make sure that we're maintaining the functionality of our service. Speaking of functionality of our service, some of the key activities that our product and service would include would be the external updates that it would provide to victims, as well as internal maintenance and encryption that helps ensure the protection of victims' sensitive case information. Due to the fact that a lot of these cases may deal with sensitive information, one of our most important key partnerships would be with victim survivor advocate groups. These advocate groups would serve as a resource to those using our service during the time that they are tracking their case progress. Additionally, other key partnerships would include police reform groups as well as legislators in hopes to maintain a sense of transparency and accountability for case progression. The last portion of our business model canvas is our cost structures, or essentially where our costs will come from. A large part of our costs will be attributed to the initial app development, and then will most likely trickle into some form of future maintenance for the app and its supporting software. Furthermore, some of our other costs may come from the upkeep of technical support or the creation of a training video to help educate those new to implementing the app.
Some tie-in factors that we considered when making our framework and our canvas is firstly the market forces. Police unions could be resistant to implement our product, and so we would need to make sure that we're catering towards helping them and making their job easier. Another concern is potentially the privacy of records, so we need to make sure that we have encryption services and that we maintain security throughout the app and in every stage of it. Some key trends that we thought of are a growing call for police accountability, and so we think that our product highlights a need for that. But along with that, there's a call to remove resources from police departments. However, we've seen with Salt Lake County Police Department that even though they've slashed the budget, they are still providing things that keep them accountable. For example, body cams and tasers. And we think that they would also be willing to use our product to help keep them accountable. Next, we considered the industry forces. We don't think that there's any direct competitors with the portion of record keeping that we want to do for law enforcement, and we hope to merge with it and make it easier for them. We know that there's a lot of distress for police forces right now, and we hope that by creating this product, we'd be benefiting the community and victims and not just providing a non-consequential reform. That maybe we can do this by creating a way that the community can communicate with the leadership of police departments. Maybe that's through surveys or through complaint forms. Considering macroeconomic forces, we know that they use potentially antiquated technology and it's different record keeping across different departments. So we hope to be able to unify communities and police departments through this product.
Next, for our build, measure, learn process, we decided to build an MVP wireframe of the app interface for each customer segment. We wanted to build an MVP wireframe so that way we wouldn't spend too much time perfecting the wireframe in case we needed to go back and pivot. We also decided to create a survey or a poll to interview each individual customer segment. For the measure portion of the build, measure, learn process, we came up with a few hypotheses. Our first one was that we think that police departments will want to use our app. So this is something that we can measure by testing the police wireframe on a small segment initially. We discussed testing it with the University of Utah Police Department. And then we'd be able to receive their feedback through our survey. For our next hypothesis, we think that local officials will be willing to use either the city or the police budget for additional oversight over the police. We can test this by interviewing city council members to receive their feedback on our wireframe. And it's also important that we get feedback from both sides, conservative and liberal. Our next hypothesis was that victims will want to use this app. We can test this a few ways. We looked at talking to maybe Unsafe U as well as any other victim advocate groups at the U. We also thought it would be a good idea to start a poll in a University of Utah Facebook group and see what kind of feedback we got from students. Our next hypothesis was that people within the criminal court systems or people with pending charges will want to use the app. We'll be able to test this on, there's groups that are raising funds to bail out protesters from the situations going on right now. And we'd be able to get their feedback maybe through a Facebook group on the desirability of the wireframe for them. So the last step in our build, measure, learn process is the learn portion. And this all depends on the testing of our hypotheses. But we can either take two things from the tests. We can either learn and pivot, or we can learn and persevere. For the pivot, basically we'll know once we test the hypothesis if there's anything that we need to change within our framework that does not meet the desired function for the specific customer segment. And we can also reestablish a framework that will better suit their needs. For persevere, after we test our hypothesis, we'll know which features that work well and which features to maintain that are functional and desirable while we continue to measure, learn, and redevelop from the feedback loop.